Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about a concept today, which is that life, and really anybody or anything, they don't owe you anything. If you're new to my channel and you're interested in spirituality, non-dual teachings, Zen or Buddhist teachings, yoga classes, spiritual music, kirtan, things of that nature, please make sure to subscribe and comment if you enjoyed this video. So what I wanted to talk about today was the idea that life doesn't owe you anything. And this is an important concept because I think when we really grasp it, we begin to see life for what it is, which is that life is a plus, it's a gift. It's not a minus, even when we see it as a minus. And we tend to only see it as a minus because we might compare our situation with someone else's, or we might compare our situation with situations in the past. So this is problematic for us because if we compare, we're always going to find somebody or some time when things were quote unquote better than they are now. Are they really better? Well, who knows? In order to know if somebody else has a better life than us, we'd probably actually need to be in their shoes. As some of you have heard me say in the past, I don't really believe that there is such a thing as an easy human life. I know it seems that way. You know, if we're poor, we look at someone who has a lot of money, riches and influence, and we tend to think, well, they have it easy. I have it hard. It's not fair. But if you were to be in the shoes of, say, our president or the president or CEO of some company, you might find that the stresses that they have to deal with and the challenges that they have to deal with would make you very unhappy in reality. Sure, maybe you wouldn't be hungry. Maybe you could buy whatever you wanted when you wanted it. Maybe you would have influence and power. But what I want my students to grasp and to realize is that none of those things bring us happiness. Power doesn't, money doesn't, influence doesn't. So not in a lasting way. If we have been without money and we make some money, then sure, temporarily for a little while, we might feel that that has really been a game changer for us. But at a certain point, you're going to find that your brain, it's just kind of the way that it's designed, your brain starts to take it for granted. And that's sort of the theme of today's talk is if we understand that life really doesn't owe us anything, that all of life is a gift, then we won't take anything for granted. And what you might find is there are so many things to be grateful for. And I think this is one of the reasons why studies have shown that doing something as simple as keeping a gratitude journal is a great way to actually influence and change our mood and how we feel overall. So if you've been someone in the past who's dealt with things like depression, bad moods, things of that nature, then you might find that just daily jotting down some things that you feel that you could be grateful for can actually shift your mood, change what we might call the baseline. So some people, I think, have a fairly high, happy baseline. They just tend to see things in a good way. They tend to be in a good mood, tend to be happy. Other people, their baseline seems to be much lower. They tend to see things in a negative light. And once again, modern science is telling us that our brains in general, human brains, are designed to see things in a negative light. That even in neutral or even positive situations, we tend to interpret things in a negative light. So just keeping a gratitude journal, counting our blessings, so to speak, is a great way to change or shift this baseline, our base mood. Because otherwise we wake up in the morning and we see all the things we don't have, all the things that we don't like, all the problems in the world. And another piece of advice I could give you is to shut off the news. I know it might seem very important to keep abreast of all the things that are going on in the world, but generally what the news is all the negative stuff that is happening throughout the world. Every day the sun rises and they don't report that on the news. Again, you might think, of course they don't, it's a given. But again, when we stop taking things for granted, that's when we start feeling gratitude. So don't take it for granted that the sun rises in the morning. Don't take it for granted that you have your next full inhale and exhale. As someone who suffers from asthma, I can tell you, you can end up in a situation where you try and take that next breath and it's just not there. So we can be grateful for being able to breathe. This is also something with COVID, since this is a hot topic right now. If you get sick enough with COVID, you might try and take a breath and find that breath isn't there. You can't take that breath. So really, if we can be grateful for anything, the thing that we want to think about is the fact that there is something as opposed to nothing. There is a world here. There are things happening as opposed to just a void. Now, I'm not even saying a void would be bad or a problem, but think about it. What if you were to wake up one morning and there was nothing? There was absolutely nothing. You might actually at that point wish that you had a sick body, because at least there was something there to look at, something to interact with, something to think about. What if you just woke up and there was absolutely nothing? So what I'd like you to focus on, again, is gratitude. Gratitude journaling is a great way to do this. But again, just not taking anything for granted helps us with gratitude. When we realize that we are not owed anything, that the universe does not owe us another breath, it does not owe us health, it does not owe us situations that we find pleasing. This relates somewhat with my other talks about likes and dislikes. I've had 3 talks recently. You can go back and look at those. I'll try and link to them in the description or somewhere here. But this relates with that. If we think that somehow the universe is supposed to please us, we're very confused. The irony is, once we understand that the universe isn't here to please us, the universe is great. Life is great. It is very pleasing. It's very enjoyable. But first, we have to understand that it is not here to meet our demands or to please us. That is not the purpose of the universe. If I were to describe the purpose of the universe, and this isn't a complete, ultimate truth, because I think ultimately there really isn't a purpose. But if we were to think of human life and life on planet Earth, if I were to describe it, I would say that it's basically a classroom, that we are here to learn how to live in joy and peace amongst all the changes and things that happen in our lives. Some of them, again, we will find pleasing, and some of them we will not find pleasing. All right, guys, I hope that you got something from this talk. This is my first recording with my new camera. I'm trying to upgrade everything, give you guys a little bit higher quality content. If you like the quality and you enjoy what we talked about, please give me the old thumbs up there on YouTube. If there's a question that came up because of this, please leave it down in the comments. And again, if you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel. If there's anyone at all who you think can benefit from hearing a talk like this, please feel free to share it with them. All right, everybody, I hope you got something from that. Namaste, and I will see you next time.